Radio in motion. Program loading in 3, 2, 1. Program activated.
Attention everyone, the unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake.
Okay, first things first, what is your name?
This is Big Sonny playing the best of the 90s and beyond.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Radio in motion.
Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go.
All right, ready? Here we go.
Radio in motion.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Hope you're enjoying tonight's Tuesday Trouble as we get through all the songs that sort of just make you want to just get through the week and hope for the best and hope for the weekend. But right now we're going to have another installment of The Ugly Truth. Remember, the truth can be ugly, but the truth can also set you free. I mentioned earlier about having a bit of a chat about what's the difference between sort of political parties, left or right, or Democrat or Republican. We had a wonderful Sunbury caller call in. He used a word I can't say on the air, but he really just said, look, they're both pretty garbage. And I'll be honest, I've mentioned this before. You know, when it comes to you know, especially in America, there's this Democrat and Republican, and here it's Labor and all the different parties. You know, you shouldn't pick a side that you just think that you have to back them and choose their narrative just because you've always done it. Frankly, again, and I was asked recently what side do you lean politically? And I was never actually asked that directly. And I said, frankly, I'm a humanist. You know, I'm on the side of humans. I'm on the side of us. I'm on the side of communities and family and everyone who has a 9-to-5 and everyone who's just trying to get by and feels like they don't have a voice. So frankly, that's the side we should all be on. And yes, we do have governments in this world. Can't get rid of them at the moment. So best thing you can do is try to choose the people that you think best speak for you and represent you. And if you're a super billionaire, big tech, big pharma, trillionaire person, well, then the people who speak for you, well, it's mostly just the people you're paying. But hey, if you don't have the cash to roll that, then you have to do that simple thing, which is elect the right people. And it's not easy, I know. These days, you know, you can't talk politics or religion, God knows, you get canceled. But those are the most fun subjects. So, you know, when I talk about Democrat, specifically Democrat, it's got the word democratic in it. You think it does. And so you must assume, well, they must be very democratic and for the people. I'll tell you, I think they used to be, but I don't think they're who you think they are anymore. So let's just, again, if you're following any of this, and if you're not, as I say, anything I say, free field to Google the heck out of it. Do your own research. Find your own way. Get your own news from multiple sources. Don't just turn on the nightly news and expect them to give you actual facts. Just saying, it's not their job. They have advertisers they have to make happy. That's not mainstream news' job. Their job is to inform the narrative that they've been told they have to sell. So again, always find out your own news. But in general, think about this. RFK Jr. is backing Trump. Again, if I talk about Trump or Kamala Harris or Biden, I'm not on any of their side. I think it's just a total swamp. You know, most of the highest government offices are just corrupt swamp. Let's get that out of the way. I get that. All you can do is try to choose the person that you actually think will stop and listen and try to get the things you want, the laws you want for your children, for your health, for your safety, through so that you can live your life and your community happy. That's all. Whoever that is, I don't care. If it's Trump and you're such a Trump hater, that's fine. Be a Trump hater till you die. But the fact is I just give you the facts. You use your own computer called your brain. You figure it out for yourself. RFK Jr., a Democrat. My goodness. His family lineage, you have to understand. Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, come on. These are Democratic royalty. And he has backed out of the race. He was denied any sit down or access to the Democratic Party, Biden or Kamala. They didn't want anything to do with him. They just think he's a nut job. So he is sitting down with the man that actually will sit down and have a talk with him. And that just happens to be Trump. And again, you look this up yourself. Tulsi Gabbard, she's another one. She ran for president, my friends, as a Democrat. Okay, 2 Democrats. She's not a Democrat anymore, but she was. She believed in that party. She believed in their passions and their policies. So one ex-Democrat, but one current Democrat. But anyway, both people who followed that party are now backing Trump and his policies. So again, you just have to stop and think, even if you're a full Trump hater, I'm not a Trump lover. I'm just giving you the facts. I'm just saying, lay them out before you and have a think about it. These 2 people are backing him and his policies and his agendas because they feel he's on the right track. And by the way, they don't agree on everything. They shouldn't. Nobody does. Who actually sits down and agrees on everything? And that is the problem, I think, again, especially with the Democrats. If you don't toe the line, you're canceled. And that's not how, even the worst of politics, that's the point of it, to sit down and to come up with what is essentially not always a solution, but trade-offs. That's life, folks. Everything in life is a trade-off, but you sit down and you come up with the best way forward for both of you. And one person might walk away not completely happy, but that's life. That's politics. You can't just shut people down. And I bring up something as simple as, the old adage of the emperor's new clothes. I'm sure you've heard that. But that's still happening to this day, folks. These kind of things, this mentality of propaganda is the same thing. The emperor's new clothes. The emperor comes out in front of all his constituents and all his people and says, look at how do you like my beautiful new clothes? Aren't they so lovely? And of course, all his constituents and everyone who works for him immediately say, oh, I think they're lovely, Emperor. I think they're the best clothes I've ever seen. And everyone in the crowd, everyone in the kingdom says, oh, Emperor, they are some of the best clothes I've ever seen. And of course, it takes a child to run up and go, hey, the dude's naked. And of course, everyone guffaws, you can't say that. What are you saying? So again, it's easy to just get swooped up in propaganda and follow because everyone else is following the same thing. And, sometimes it takes the innocence of a child to just simply point out the truth that we're just all in line and not having any independent thought. So like I say, the kind of, old sayings like that, they still are around today because they still happen. And this certainly relates to something like President Biden, the fact that he was in absolute cognitive decline for years, and they all kept it hush-hush. It was the emperor's new clothes kind of thing. Oh, no, he's fine. Don't point that out. If you point that out, you're wrong. We'll have to imprison you or shut you down. And now the mainstream media, the new darling is Kamala Harris. They've immediately made sure to protect her and keep her isolated because, her thing is, her emperor's new clothes is the fact that she just cannot string together a sentence that has any meaning. She just speaks in word salads. And look, for most of you to say, well, that's how politicians talk. They all just come out and, no, even a good politician, someone like Obama or something, even though Obama, believe me, I'll talk about that in a minute, even with his issues, he knew how to talk. The man knew how to string together a sentence and get people to follow him. Again, if you're going to be the leader of the free world, you may actually have to sit down with another leader of the free world, of the not so free world, and have a serious discussion. Again, if any of you think, oh, well, the president's just a figurehead, he's just a puppet, they're being controlled behind the scenes. I don't doubt that. I'm with you there, especially with Biden. But frankly, isn't that sad? I still think that person should be representing the people of that country, and they should be able to have an open and honest conversation, and they should be able to answer the questions off the cuff. I'm sorry. We live in such a teleprompter, pre-scripted sort of world. Someone mentioned that to me. I said, Kamala Harris, her kryptonite is interviews. So they're shielding her from interviews. She just had one. I don't know if you saw it. You should check out the YouTube clips. It was just total word salad. No actual answers. I mean, a yes or no would have been better. I wish she said less. But the thing is, you can't have everything scripted. As much as I'm sure, of course they do. Of course, leaders in those positions and CEOs, of course they have everything. They have their notes. But frankly, if you're in something like a debate or an interview on TV, which again, they're rarely sort of off the cuff, but if they are and they throw you a bit of a zinger, if you're not experienced or smart enough to be able to answer that question even if it's not honestly, but sensibly, then something's wrong. And frankly, that's how she is, and that's how she's been through the entire vice presidency. But of course, they want you to forget that. They want you to think like she came out of nowhere. She's fresh. She's got this awesome vibe, and they're riding the wave. Did you forget that she's been horrible along with Biden for 4 years? So let's take the Wayback Machine to what I thought when I was a kid, and especially, my mom's probably still like this, the old world, the old-fashioned sort of Democrat. Bill Maher, kind of a Democrat, hippie kind of a Democrat, dare I say. It's funny how you think about the things that they were passionate about. The health, their health, healthy food for them and their kids, freedom of speech, that's a pretty big one, and privacy. Not having the government come around to your house and raiding your house and taking all your stuff. And they're very much anti-war. Well, I'm going to tell you what, folks. I just described the actual policies put forth by the Trump administration and RFK Jr., laying out these exact plans. The Kamala Harris camp has no policies. They've laid out nothing they're going to do. They just keep respouting the same crap they've been doing for years, and nothing's changed. And frankly, Democrats, isn't it funny enough? This is how I feel like there's a change. Isn't it funny? You think the Republicans are the evil party. The Democrats, they love a good never-ending war. That's a fact, folks. Again, you can look that up yourself. Even through Obama's term and Biden, they love themselves some war, getting us into new wars. War machine, the military-industrial complex, big money, folks. The war machine is big money. They love the nation to be divided. They love divisiveness. They thrive on it. They want to throw you all the bread and circuses, all the distraction possible, so that you don't notice that they're doing a terrible job. Again, look this up yourself. They love big pharma and big tech. Are you kidding me? Oh, my Lord. I'm not even getting to COVID right now, but yes, of course they love big pharma. And they love limiting free speech. You don't believe that? I'm sure all of you already noticed that there's been a change in Twitter, and now X, when Elon Musk, again, irrespective of what you think Elon Musk's political sides are, I do believe for the most part his whole aim is to keep that platform free. I was speaking to someone recently talking about Twitter, and they mentioned, it's important that only the right messages get through. And I was saying, no, all messages. You decide for yourself. You can't limit one side or the other, therefore it's no longer the town square. And Mark Zuckerberg just came out recently talking about Facebook, and we all knew this. He apologized and admitted that he cooperated with the government, and he now is regretting that he gave them so much access, and that he bent to their will to limit certain stories that they wanted him to limit. Now, folks, again, if you're not that into this and it doesn't bother you, you don't think it affects your day-to-day life, that's fine. But it does, because you all use all these platforms every day, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or TikTok or all of this. And if you have an idea or story, or you actually have some actual facts that you'd like to talk about, what if the government decided to target you and take it down, and then further target your family, take down other parts of your social media? You think that doesn't happen? Well, Mark Zuckerberg just pretty much came down that he's running Facebook, and he was pressured. And of course, again, you can Google this. Elon Musk, when he took over, he found so many files and so much collusion between the FBI and Twitter about keeping certain stories down, making sure they don't get out. And some of those were about Biden. Some of them were about his son, Hunter Biden, and the whole laptop. Again, I'm not going to get into that, but the point is that is the current party that's in power right now. And you think, but they're Democrats. They're all for freedom of speech, and they're anti-war. No, it's not the party that you think they were. It's the party of wanting to keep power at any cost, and that's scary. And it's funny. Usually what you do, and this is a smart tactic, blame the other person for the actual thing you're doing to keep the noise off you. They pretty much constantly say that Trump is a megalomaniac in power. And as I always point out, and no, this doesn't make me a huge Trumper. This just makes me want you to understand that this is a guy who already had everything he needed in the entire world. He's not that power hungry. He has plenty of power, plenty of money. My goodness, he's used all of his own money. He didn't need to do this in any way, shape, or form. He could have retired and had the fancy-free billionaire life. And he's doing this because he sees a reason for it. I'm just saying, that's how he talks, and that's how he's always been through all of this. So, like I say, don't align yourself with the party just because you think it has the name that seems to fit for you. And again, the Democratic Party right now and Kamala Harris, there's no policy. They're just riding on good vibes, and they've got mainstream media behind them, of course, and all the Hollywood stooges. So again, that's always been the Democrats. They have the full power of Hollywood behind them. Every actor and actress will make all the videos saying, this is the right vote, this is what to do, this is where to be. And it's just based on nothing. It's based on bread and circuses and just distraction. So much so, and I'm sorry, I do think this is despicable. They always like to roll with a good narrative. They may not have invented this one, but they certainly ran with it. Apparently there was this rumor that Beyonce was going to perform at the end of the Democratic National Convention. And then all through the night, all the news stations and all the reporters there, everyone's talking about it, and everyone being interviewed. Oh, do you think she's going to come? Queen Bey and Beyonce? Oh, I don't know, maybe, but we're getting ready and we're getting our dancing shoes on. Turned out it was complete bullcrap. She was never coming. There's no way. And I highly doubt someone like Beyonce and her entire staff would have said, oops, we forgot. We had another gig booked. Sorry. That is something they rolled with it because, frankly, they just wanted to keep viewers. Again, that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but I think the fact that you would keep, promulgating that lie throughout the night, just to make sure you could hang on to some viewers, and then she didn't show up, she got sick or whatever bullcrap excuse. I mean, come on. So again, I don't care. It's not about Democrat or Republican. I'm looking at the people. I'm looking at the people and what they say and what they do, what they're actually doing, what their past history is. And frankly, the only reason everyone in Hollywood and the mainstream media want you to vote for Kamala Harris is because she has XX chromosome and that she is an African-American woman. By the way, we could get stuck into that, but I'm sure you could understand the hilarity of this, that first she was saying how proud she was to be an Indian American, and now it's that she's black. Yes, of course you can be both. You can be anything you want. It's not about race, but it's about using them for your advantage. She rode the Indian wave, and now she's going to ride the black. It's all about choosing to tick a box, and I just don't think that's how you should choose anything in life, because it inherently is racist. But that's the only reason they want to do it. They want to tick a box. And of course now, former Michelle Obama came out, former First Lady. Now, her take on it was, she was talking about when she was a kid, her parents said not to trust people who took more than they needed. Okay. Well, you go first, Michelle, because you're a multimillionaire, and that has happened while you and your husband have been in office. You've made that money off your political career. So you want to do the communism, socialist, let's share it all around? You go first. Start sharing those millions. I'm happy. I'll give you my bank account and BSB number. You can go first. And then, of course, Oprah comes out. And Oprah is amazing. She has been around my entire adult life on TV that I remember, and always been in the forefront. But frankly, she is also a billionaire, a couple times over, telling us how bad it is for her. And the thing is all of them, I feel like they are just, like I said, they love divisiveness. They love you to be divided so that you are just confused and distracted. They love stoking racism like it's the 50s. Again, I'm not naive. Yes, racism exists. There are racist people. but America as a whole, my goodness, one of the places in the forefront that has always been ahead of the curve and making sure that everyone from every single background has a chance. And this is the world we're in now, like it's the 50s again. Oprah saying that, she's had times where she's been the victim of inequality or sexism. I'm not dismissing that very well may have happened to her. And there are people of all walks of life and gender and race that have had struggles in their life that you couldn't imagine, whether it's about poverty or it's about something tragic that happened to them or an illness. And again, when we talk about poverty, I feel like, especially in America, it's immediately they'll talk about it like specific communities. I'm going to tell you something, and I will say this affected me in my younger life. Not everyone of a certain color doesn't have money. That's ridiculous. That's naive to assume that. Frankly, poverty is poverty. That's like a virus in itself, and that can follow families around of any color. So first of all, not growing up with money, not unique to certain communities, okay? I grew up with not a lot of money. You do what you can to work hard and get through it. And yes, that's what Oprah did. And yes, I don't deny that she may have had things in her life that happened to her that were unfortunate because she was female and maybe that she was black. Those stories, I won't deny it because she's telling them. But the thing is she's making it like now she is still a victim. And as of right now, she is in such a heinous, racist America that is targeting her. This is a woman, like I say, who has been on television my entire adult life and risen through the ranks in every way, shape, or form, and is a very powerful woman. And again, I hate to put this down to money, but it's true. She is successful in every way. Her property in Maui is bigger than Central Park in New York, okay? Just her house that she can just roam around in. So yes, America has treated her so very badly. Again, I just don't get this. And Michelle Obama and Obama, by the way, do you remember when we elected Obama? America elected the first black president, twice, mind you. And you think to yourself, well, racism as we thought of it is certainly coming to an end. And no, they want to make it like they're taking it back to day one, that all of America is just completely divided among the race lines. And that, again, I'm sorry, that is part of their race hustle. And frankly, Obama was one of them too, okay? Obama started off with all very altruistic and great ideas, but then somewhere along the line, he started the whole race hustle and started to say how we need to start making divisions along these lines, and we start to we need to distribute this wealth. And again, this is from someone who certainly made his own wealth in America in his own way. So if we want to start distributing it, we'll start with you. We'll start with your money. But it doesn't work like that. It's not for them. It's for all of you to do. That's the other thing, do as I say, not as I do. And I don't like that. But yeah, so, RFK Jr. has been blocked at every turn. So he decided, he just became, persona non grata for years. It was actually on the Megyn Kelly show. She said this in 2022 when he had a bit of a comeback because he was just banned. The Democrats made sure he was, like I say, not popular with any of the mainstream media. But she interviewed him, and he started to finally get his voice again. And, the thing is again, think of that. Think of the last Kennedy, going to be honest, who was a Democrat who disagreed with the current powers that be. Well, his name was John F. Kennedy, and you know what happened to him. I'm just saying, it's well known that John F. Kennedy was out there and making moves, very obvious historical moves that you can read about and watch, which was about trying to avoid war, trying to stop war. But the war machine wanted nothing to do with that. The war machine wants its war. So again, I'm just saying, I think it's amazing that RFK Jr. Has this legacy of going against his own party, and now he's done it. So you think, oh, well, what is exactly that they do that affects us? Well, again, they actually have policies that make sense. So they talked about, Trump was saying they would start a commission on assassination attempts and immediately go into the archives and release the documentation relating to the JFK assassination. Again, for most people, they're like, I don't even remember or don't even care, which is sad because to this day, it's still something that they're keeping under wraps. And by the way, when they had the commission in the 60s, the Warren Commission, they were saying that they would seal these documents because there's too many people connected to this that could be implicated and all that nonsense. But they said in 60 years, we will open the National Archive and this information can be released to the public. Well, folks, that time has come and gone. That's been a few years back now, and still nothing. Have you seen any huge report on the news or something you can look up on the whole everything that happened with the JFK assassination? No, because again, there are still people who are linked to that who are still around. They talk about things like the environment. You know, he's an environmentalist lawyer, RFK. Isn't that amazing? An environmental lawyer with Trump, but Trump must be evil. How can that be? Talking about the corruption in the CDC and the FDA. And again, the food in America, I'm not going to say that it's not similar in Australia or the UK, but I hope it is a bit better here. But especially, and look, I am from the States. I've been here over 20 years, but I will tell you this. There is so much processed food, and there's so much that they just try to put a veil of lies over it, you know. Things on the back of packages say like natural flavorings or natural ingredients. None of it's natural. It's all food dyes and it's horrible. But this is the one things that RFK Jr. is passionate about. And Trump is quite happy to go along with that and also be passionate about that. What's wrong with that? But the Democrats seem to hate that. They don't want you to be healthy. Well, he does. He wants your kids to be healthy. He wants there to be more transparency when it comes to those ingredients and all that processed food. Again, I used to love cereal, but my God, it's just not natural to have, you know, blue and yellow and red rings floating around in your milk, and you think that's okay, folks. If you think that's food, I can't help you. You can eat it. Food is food. Meat, fruit, vegetables, these things are food. All that processed crap is not food. So, you know, that's one of the things. A healthy America. Healthy children, because again, yes, as much as you see obesity here in the U.S., it's still a huge problem, and especially for children. And that's a sad fact. There are so many obese kids, and it has nothing to do with hereditary or anything like that or a hormonal imbalance. It has to do with they eat too much crap and they eat too much of it. It's as simple as that. And again, maybe some of it's that the families don't know, but, you know, hopefully once they do know, they'll stop eating all that crap. And the other thing is they are certainly, you know, both anti-war. Again, you can look this up yourself. When Trump was president, didn't get us into any or start any new wars. In fact, was trying to get us out of them. That's a fact. Has no interest in going to war with anyone. Well, that's upsetting because, again, that goes against the military-industrial complex that likes to make its money on the war. So currently, all the policies I'm telling you that are currently in the Republican camp sound like the old Democrat hippie ways. Anti-war, freedom of speech. What's going on? How did they flip? So, yeah, how can this be? And again, Democrats, I always thought they were for the blue-collar middle class. Well, not anymore. They don't want anything to do with you. You're the problem. They want you to just hide in your home, get 20 boosters. They want to engineer the next pandemic, and they want you scared, and they want you just dependent on the government. They don't want you to have healthy, strong communities. And so that's certainly not being behind the blue-collar middle class. And yeah, they want to talk about ending censorship. Again, the Democrats have this whole, it's practically Orwellian 1984, the Ministry of Truth. That's a fact. Misinformation. I hate that phrase. There is no misinformation. There's information. If some of it's wrong, some of it's right, some of it's hateful, some of it's kind, that's life. You use your brain, you use your own computer, and you decide. I think it's condescending because, again, they assume only the elites are smart enough to know. Only those in government are smart enough to understand what's the right and wrong information. You're too stupid to know that. You can't figure that out. We need to filter that out before it gets to you, the public masses who are just a bunch of crazy hordes waiting to storm the gates. That's you. So, like I say, and again, his speech also went on to talk about, to protect us against a totalitarian state, which is what we're in, folks. The government really assumes they have more power than they do. Like I say, my favorite saying is by the people, for the people. And again, that should be in any democratic, government, including Australia or the UK. And these days, it's not so much. We just assume the government has the ultimate stranglehold on us, but they don't. They're supposed to work for you. They work for you and your needs. That's a fact. So yeah, I mean, if you're anti-war and anti-food, that's giving your children chronic disease, and then they're just in the system for their whole life. Oh, we'll give you this pill and that pill. Oh, that's great. You'll need this operation, that operation. This sounds evil, folks, but a sick kid. Yes, I'm rubbing my hands together. That just means big money. No, I'm not saying anyone in your medical community. Of course not. None of your doctors or nurses. All these people are passionate and amazing people who are there for you. Those are the people you can trust. Of course, you have to find someone that you trust, a doctor, and you get that rapport. I'm talking about much higher up the food chain. Yes, big pharma is big business. And a sick child, that's big business. A healthy child, that's kind of boring for them. There's nothing they can do with that. But a sick kid in a broken home, maybe a single parent home, oh, that's something. The government can grab the kid and they can engineer him and get him all sorted out. And now the government has a purpose. Oh, we have a purpose. Our purpose is to take care of your children because you can't. You don't know how to take care of your children. No. Homeschooling, well, that's abhorrent. Not homeschooling. Oh, my goodness. You must send them to public school because we need to train them in the proper ways. So again, I know I'm going on and on, but yeah, if you think anti-war and healthy kids and freedom of speech and your privacy, well, if you thought those all sounded like democratic things, unfortunately, they're not backed by the Democratic Party. So again, this is just me laying out the facts. You figure it out yourself. But I think this is an historic moment that there's such a huge flip-flop between the parties. The party of hippie, yeah, man, totally, freedom of speech. I'm a Democrat all the way, man. JFK has totally flipped. That's not who they are anymore. And it seems like a lot of the Republicans that you used to hate are actually on board with wanting to see if they can make a better country and actually help the people in that country. I don't know. What's wrong with that, folks? Anyway, that's all I have tonight. One more thing. This shows on how nasty they are. There was a CNN reporter that said during RFK Jr.'s speech, he said, who knows what he's saying? It's just hillbilly speak, and you can't understand him with his voice anyway. Really, what a nice low blow to have a go at him because he actually has a condition. It's actually a neurological condition which affects his voice, so he's got that raspy sounding voice. So that's it. So now we're going to attack him on that. He's just a loony, and you can't understand him anyway. Real nice, folks. What a really good, non-biased rapport the mainstream media has. What really, adult reporting that is. Yeah, sure. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight on The Ugly Truth. Like I say, it's going to be a crazy ride up until November, so who knows what's going to happen next. In the past few months, it's been quite a roller coaster from assassination attempts and like I say, the current president. By the way, you do know that the president of the United States is Joe Biden, but who would ever hear from him? Because he just goes to the beach and hangs out and he waves, and then they cart him away. That's great. As of right now, I have such confidence in the president. If something were to go horribly wrong, that he would take care of it. Oh my God. Anyway, more great songs up next on Radio Motion on our Tuesday Night Trouble after a word from our sponsors.